How's it going, everybody? It's Frisby Moonsong here. Yow! And we are back with the starter series, continuing to teach you guys more about Yu-Gi-Oh! And everything we know, and getting you guys into the game and helping you guys come into this awesome game that I actually really enjoy. So, what we're going to be talking about today is we're talking about getting into the tournaments and understanding the rules, laws, and logistics of the game just a little bit better. There's certain card interactions that help and stuff like that, getting you a better idea of how the game is played. So first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to be talking a little bit about spell speed. So there's a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh called spell speed. Now spell speed 1 would be all your activated effects. So any monster effect that activates usually on summon, or any monster effect that activates that says once per turn, so you declare an activation, or any normal spell cards. So any normal spell cards, these are usually your spell speed ones. Even some of your field spells are usually spell speed ones, but usually things that you have to activate in your main phase that start a chain. These are usually your spell speed ones. Now, spell speed 1s cannot react to anything because you cannot chain a spell speed 1 to anything. Then we have your spell speed 2s. These would be considered your quick monster effects, your quick play spells, and your trap cards. These count as your spell speed 2. These are cards that can respond to chains. These are cards that can respond to any sort of card effect. So the rules, how this applies, is that a spell speed 2 can respond to a spell speed 2 and a spell speed 1, but it cannot respond to a spell speed 3. Now your spell speed 3 would be your counter traps. These are the fastest things in the game, so to speak. A spell speed 3 can only react. A spell speed 3 can react to a spell speed 3, a 2, and a 1, but a spell speed 2 cannot react to a spell speed 3, and neither can a spell speed 1 react to a spell speed 2 or spell speed 3. So examples of your spell speed 1s would be Raigeki, Dark Hole, what is it? Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. I guess that's a nice one. What else would be a spell speed one? Marionetta, sure, why not? Alistair the Invoker, although Alistair does have a quick effect, so it can also be a spell speed 2. But your spell speed 2s will be your compulsory evacuations, your Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. That's a very common spell speed 2 in this game right now. Your Borrowload Savage Dragon, that is also a spell speed 2. Your Appaloosa, your IP Masquerina, these all count as spell speed 2s because they have these quick effects. Now your spell speed 3s would be your counter traps like Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, and Solemn Judgment. These are the common spell speed 3s that are in the game right now. Now technically there are spell speed 4s, but spell speed 4s would be considered any card that says you cannot respond to this card, pretty much. So for example, Dark Ruler No More is pretty much a spell speed 4, obviously only for monster effects, but like things like, I guess, Forbidden Droplets would count as a spell speed 4 if you discarded all 3 of the different types of cards. Then also one card that's definitely a spell speed 4 is Super Polymerization. That is a spell speed 4, so that is one card to look out for. Technically spell speed 4 isn't exactly a thing, but that is one thing to be aware of, is that just your spell speed chains in interactions. Now one thing you can know about Yu-Gi-Oh is that chains always activate forwards and resolve backwards. So you activate each effect forward, and if you look on a card, anything usually before a semicolon, that is cost. So on the declaration of activation of your card effect, you would have to pay your cost. So usually cards will say pay 1,500 life points semicolon, which means as you activate it, you have to immediately pay the 1,500 life points, or send a card on your field to the grave semicolon. Then, so what will happen is you will send the card on your field to the grave, then you give your opponent a window to respond, and if they don't, the card will resolve. Now usually cost works on things like tributing itself as well and discarding itself. So Ash Blossoms and Joyous Springs cost will be to discard itself from the hand. So there's some things that you can also look out for, how spell speed also works on the monster itself instead of sending other things or paying life points or things like things like that. So those are things you can look out for spell speeds, for paying cost, for chains and interactions and stuff like that. Now moving on to what we actually came to talk about was the tournaments. Now when you get into Yu-Gi-Oh! A good way to start practicing is playing against other people, of course. Otherwise, you will never get better. I feel like you can sit there and do combos on your own as much as you want to, but unless you actually have practice against people, I think it will be very tough to get better at the game and get better with interaction, because now you have to think like another person. You have to get into the mind of the opposing player, which is actually the really exciting part about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you're constantly trying to outwit your opponent. One thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it's definitely a mind game. So practicing against other people, I highly recommend it. And if you have a locals that happens near you, I do recommend going there, even if it's not playing for the prize support. Just playing so you can actually practice against people is a lot of fun, and it's really, really helpful for your game. And you can see what works in your deck and what doesn't. You know, what cards do you draw that kind of hinder your deck? Because as we said in a previous video, consistency is very, very strong, and makes decks really, really strong. The more consistent your deck is, the better it will play most of the time. I mean, consistency obviously doesn't work if it's consistent, but it consistently does nothing. My English is gone today, jeez. But yes, those are things that you can look out for when playing in tournaments, and I do recommend going to local tournaments. Now, with tournaments, there are tiers of it. So, first tier is usually your locals event. Then the second tier of tournaments is usually your regionals, your Yu-Gi-Oh days, those sort of things. Those little extra tournaments you get. And then after that, you'll have your nationals, which is the nationals for the whole country. So usually your regionals tops into your nationals, and then after the nationals you can move to the World Championship qualifiers in Europe, because we're in South Africa, so we go with the European division. So yes, you're able to move on to the qualifiers there. But usually in tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh, we use the Swiss round of tournament formats. So it means for every win you usually get 3 points, a draw is considered 1 point, and a loss is considered 0 points. So you will play a whole bunch of rounds, and at the end you tally up the score to see who's at the top tables. Now usually after that there will be a top whatever cut off, depending on how many people are actually there. Some places don't do that, but it's okay. It depends on how you want to run the tournament. Oh my word, my hair is such a mess. I'm just realizing now. Look at that. Look at this. It's like crooked as hell. Anyway, while I'm trying to fix how I look on camera, because obviously my hair is just not doing it for me today, but you know, whatever. I can't even see what the hell I'm doing. There, that one crooked hair is like gone. Anyway, so you have these the cutoffs that sometimes do happen. Some places don't like to do them, but yes, it's a lot of fun just to even go there and practice. And either way, you usually do get some sort of prize support. You will never leave with just nothing, or you shouldn't be leaving with just nothing in tournaments that you enter like that. One thing that you need to know is time rules. So time rules are quite an intense thing. You get 40 minutes per round, and at the end, so you have to play best of 3 at the end of 40 minutes. If time is called, you would have to end the current phase that you are in. So at the end of that phase, whether it's standby phase, draw phase, main phase, battle phase, end phase, you end that and the game is over. The person with the highest life points will win that game, and then you tally up the score depending on best of 3. And if it's an even life point score and it is the final game, obviously you end in a draw. So that is one thing to look out for. Also, when building your deck, there is a ban list. So if you look, I'm going to put in the comment section below, there is a ban list that you have to watch out for. Now, if you look on this channel, we have been talking about ban lists a lot. There is the banned cards or forbidden cards. These are cards that you may not play in your decks at all, not even in the side deck or extra deck. They're gone. They can sit in your file and do nothing. But then there is also the limited list, which is, so on the ban list you see all these different lists. There's a forbidden list, which is cards you can't play. There's the limited list, which these are cards you can only play one copy of. So it can only be one copy throughout your main deck, side deck, and extra deck. You may only have one copy of this card, no more, no less. If you are seen playing two copies of a card or more, you could easily immediately get disqualified from the tournament. So there are limited cards, so you would have to see what cards are limited. Also, number 3, for the third one, there is semi-limited. These are cards you can only play 2 of. So you can only play 2 of the 2 cards throughout your extra deck, main deck, and side deck, as we've said before. And yeah, this is what the semi-limited list is. I mean, there aren't that many cards on the semi-limited list. It's very, very small, but it is still there regardless for cards like Destiny, Hero, Malicious, and stuff like that. And then the final one is there is the unlimited list. Of course, that is cards you can play 3 of. Now, you know that you can only allow to play a maximum of 3 cards, 3 of the same copy of a card of any type in your deck. So you gotta watch out for that when building your deck, playing, because you don't want to play like 5 starters, because that's not fair for the other person who's only playing 3, and you could get disqualified if you do that. So please watch out. Also, when you're in the tournaments, you get 3 decks. You get your main deck, which is the cards you play with in your games. The main deck can be between 40 to 60 cards. Usually trying to keep it at 40 is the best, but some people are crazy enough not to do it. And it still works. So usually you want to keep consistent and go to as close to 40 cards as possible. Then is your extra deck. Your extra deck is consisted of a maximum of 15 cards and a minimum of 0. I mean, you can't have -1 extra deck monsters, but this is the cards that can be summoned at any point of your game. This is where you'll have your fusions, your Xyzs, your synchros, your links. That's where all those cards go into your extra deck. So only allowed 15 of them. Then your side deck will consist of a minimum of 0 all the way to a maximum of 15 cards that you can side and swap out into your deck between games 2 and 3. Now, your deck always needs to be the exact same size it is from game 1 to game 2 to game 3. So if you put in a card from your side deck, you have to take out a card from your main deck or extra deck. Side deck cards may also be extra deck cards, so that really helps out as well for playing the game, because you can also side extra deck monsters as well, which most people don't really do, because it's usually the main deck to give yourself a better advantage against certain decks. But yes, the main deck side outs, usually if you're siding in 3 cards from your side deck, you side out 3 cards from your main deck. But this is only between games 2 and 3. In game 1, your main deck should be as it is the first game you play of the tournament, as your main deck is. You're not allowed to have any side deck cards in your main deck at the beginning of a game 1 in a round. So otherwise you will get into lots of trouble like that. I've seen it. Some people have mistakenly done it, so make sure every time after a round you make sure all your side deck cards are back into your main deck. That is one thing you can look out for, and be sure to be aware of those. Now also, obviously, after coming through with the ban list, you have to make sure, you just have to make sure you just be kind, during tournaments. Be cognizant of the people around you. Be open to helping new players, and to the players who are good, be understanding with the new players. It's okay to teach them, especially in a local scene where it's not as competitive. I understand if there's a big prize, then be ruthless, but when it comes to helping out new players, don't be scared to actually ask us for help, because the people who are experienced are only but wanting to give you any assistance we can. For example, there was a new guy who just joined quite recently, and everyone's just been giving him cards. Even there's someone new who joined us, and we just borrowed her a deck to play in the tournaments at locals. So people are willing to help. You just gotta find those people. And there are a lot of people in the community who are wanting to help, especially with stuff like that. So ask them, and don't be scared. If you're new, don't be scared to duel the best of the best. Even if you lose over and over again. We all were there, we all started there. how some of us got really good at the game is we just kept dueling the best people in the game, and eventually you will get better, and it will force you to play even better because you learn how the interactions work. So don't be scared to do that as a new player. Don't be scared to get in there because people are really helpful. People really want more people in the community, especially here in South Africa, because our community is very small, but we want to grow it. So we are excited to invite new people in. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about as well is that soon I will be doing a duel. We are going to be having Slifer versus Obelisk, the structure decks. Yes. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to get someone to help me with this, and one of us is going to play Slifer, and the other one is going to play Obelisk. So I'm going to leave it in the comments of this video. Please, you guys, tell me which structure deck you think I should play for this game. Let me know, and when the video comes out, we will start giving these away to you guys who want them. So let me know which one you would like me to play for this game. It's going to be a best of 3. We will each open 3 of these, and we'll each open like 3 structure decks, and we build our deck with only the cards that are in here, and we are going to be playing against each other with these to see how it works. The grand battle of Obelisk versus Slifer. Slifer. That's gonna be really, really cool. So yes, this is the stuff we're gonna be working on. That's coming out pretty soon. And to all you new players, we are excited to have you in the game. Please don't be scared to contact me or let me know if there's anything you need or want or help with in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. I know a lot of people in the South African community, so I can try help you get out there and get into it. And we love to just get new people. What we're going to be doing soon is we're going to be doing an interview with a new player who has recently joined Yu-Gi-Oh, and we're going to be like finding out information from the new player's perspective, how it is in Yu-Gi-Oh and how it is getting into Yu-Gi-Oh after watching all these videos. So yes, we look forward to all of that's coming, and we look forward to getting more stuff. We should be getting Dawn of Majesty pretty soon, so that's coming really soon to you guys, so I'm really, really excited for that. Other than that, thank you guys all for watching this video, and thank you all for enjoying this starter series with me, and don't be scared to ask if you need help with anything else. Just message me on my Facebook. I've got it in the description below. You can send me a message on there, and I'll also be putting the ban list link in the description below. Remember, we fall under the European division in TCG. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and from me, Frisby Moonsong, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys. Yow!